Previously on Real Talk TV, Part 1 Interview with the T.
Some point it was like, am I doing this for me like I initially set out to do? Or am I doing this for now all of these subscribers that I've obtained with little to no effort? Maybe they wouldn't have been able to do the things that they were able to accomplish. At one point, they had raised upwards of $470 to try to dox me. And this was back in 2019 when I first started documenting the cult.
You're watching Part 2 Interview with the T.
Do you think that you were beginning to have a cult-like following yourself?
No, not at all, because I didn't feel that there were people that were like loyal to the T. I
Interesting.
just felt that people and this is, I'm telling you, I felt that people came to the T because, like I said, the quality of the videos that I was putting out, of the documentation, people would get blocked, they would miss the lives, they would come to my channel, they would watch them, they wouldn't have to deal with any type of commentary that they might not want to hear. They could just see it straight through, add their comments. People, a lot of times I'd have people with up to 10 comments in the video, because as they're watching and going along, they're making comments, they're responding to things, they're reading the comments, responding to other comments. And so I felt that there was a community that was being built based on that. But it was just so, like, I never felt that it was just like that, because I knew that a lot of these individuals, they supported a lot of other channels that were doing the same thing I was doing. And so I just don't have that type of mindset. I'm more of a background type of person. I don't even really know what to do with the crowd of people, to be honest with you. And that's why you really didn't see me doing a lot of commentary. You didn't see me, coming out with doing a lot of lives, because that's not the type of person that I am naturally. I'm a background type of person. I like being in the background. I like to be behind the scenes. I'm like this in my regular life as well, where I like to make a huge impact, but I like to do it from the background, not the forefront. And so I kind of didn't see. I didn't understand that, and I still don't know that. I appreciate everyone who's ever supported my channel, everyone who ever came and dropped by, even if it was something negative that they had to say. I appreciate that, but I never felt that I had developed a cult following, or that I did feel that people appreciated the T for um, the ability to see what they need, what they wanted to see, to catch lives that they might have missed, and to do so in an environment where they could form their own opinions, and could could go and run with it. They can comment below, they can say whatever they wanted to say, and there was little to no moderation at one point. So I think people really loved that aspect of coming to my channel.
What do you say to those who say that you blocked them for expressing their thoughts that didn't align with yours? To those who said that you were biased in your content when it came to certain members or ex-members. What do you say to those people?
I understand. I completely understand. But what I can really say to them is that if they changed, if they put themselves in my shoes, and they um kind of go behind the scenes, and see the things that I see, and the things that I was seeing, then they could probably understand where I was coming from, in a much clearer way. The fact that the negativity towards certain members that were, just thinking back now, I feel like sometimes I feel just a sense of remorse and regret, um at even allowing the unmoderated discourse that I did allow for so long. And I think that a lot of those people were impacted by that, where I got to a point where I was like, I'm not helping, I'm hurting. This is not helping, this is hurting. Not the cult leader himself, but the people that I felt that did have a chance to possibly leave that cult at some point for good and to move on with their lives. And these are young people. And I have this platform where young people are being, critiqued, criticized, bashed, put down, dogged, and dragged on a daily basis. Where's the pride in that? What do I have to feel good about the fact that my platform is allowing that when it comes to all of these young people? Not the cult leader, because the cult leader it's free reign for him. But I'm talking about the young women, especially there, that we know that, even though they were also involved in abusing each other, they were being abused horrifically. And so I kind of think it's kind of hard for people to not lose sight of that when they're seeing someone, put themselves through that. And I think even sometimes when you see a woman, returning to abuse, that's upsetting to people. And I would be reading all of these comments every day, and these comments were affecting me and impacting me as well. And so it came to a point where I was selectively moderating certain things. Certain comments were just vile, and I was not going to post them on my page. And I understood that that upset a lot of people that were blocked for making vile, disgusting comments, or moderated by their fellow YouTubers. Because I think initially people didn't understand that a lot of times YouTube was moderating you, not me. YouTube was removing. I would respond to comments sometimes, and it would immediately poof. It would just go right away as soon as I hit send. Poof. So it's not just the channel holder that's moderating or removing or blocking your comment. It's often YouTube. It's often your fellow commenters that are seeing your comment and reporting it as spam or whatever they do or however they do that. But I would very much so respond to every comment that I either deleted, or if I blocked you because you were just blatantly rude to me. I never blocked anyone for being rude to a cult member. I blocked people for being rude to me, because I felt that there was no need for that. I don't have to take that. And I think sometimes people get on social media and think that they can say and do whatever they want without consequence. I'm a victim of that myself. I'm a I that happened to me as well. And so we have to take accountability for the things that we say and do. I have to take accountability for the things that I say and do, because what you say and do, it's going to come full circle. I've experienced that myself. And so I'm not going to sit up here and cry and whine because I was moderated, or because someone made a nasty video about me. We get moderated, and that's what happens sometimes. And
Yeah.
if I feel that if it goes too far with you sharing your opinion, then I will delete the comment. And I feel that the people, they're the angriest, the people that I've had to block and delete. Like there are people that come to my channel and just are, they make comments even about me. It's not, so these are people that they would do it even if it wasn't a cult that I was documenting, because they did it just to me. They would do it no matter what, whatever, no matter what the topic was. And so, I understand those individuals feeling a certain kind of way. And in a lot of cases, some of them hate me because I had to moderate them. But it became necessary at some point, because the toxicity and the negativity, it eventually does get to you. And seeing people being double and triple abused, not only by their abuser, but then by us, and then by our thoughts, and then by our opinions. Are we helping or are we hurting? And these are young people that have made some huge mistakes in their life. And I had to think back and say, you know what? I was 20 something once. I was far from perfect. I made some big decisions in my life that, I probably shouldn't have made at the and during those ages. And so I started just having really my conscience started really kicking in. And I think that's a dangerous thing sometimes for a content creator, because you just want to let everybody say what they want to say. But, I came to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. And it was something that, people are they're going to not like me for it no matter what I say. And so, they have that right. And I get it. But I did what I had to do. I made a call and I made a conscious decision, and I don't regret it one bit. I will delete negativity that's even directed at myself, because why should I allow that to stay? Why should I allow that to be and exist when I don't have to? And people have to understand that they have choices. We all have choices that we can make. You can either choose to be part of the problem, or you can choose to be part of the solution. You could choose positivity, or you can choose negativity. And so, even for myself, I have to live by that. And when I put out negativity, odds are I'm going to get negativity back. And so, that's a lesson that we all have to learn. But this is something that, you could just kind of watch my story and see, you know, the
Mm.
ramifications of that. I'm living proof of that. So it is
Mm.
what it is.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Uh, as we know now, there are a more cults in the African American Black melanated community, than I think most people understand. Um, a lot of them are very new, young cult leaders, cult-like personalities. You chose uh, Carbonation, the cult. But do you think that young Pharaoh um, is along the lines of a Elysia?
Without knowing the the details of the just the real inner workings of his personal relationships with his especially with his the women, I don't even know what women he's been with. I do know about Golden Beauty. We've heard about his first son's mother, often, and how there's a lot of controversy surrounding the issues within those relationships. I feel that I've never seen a harem around young Pharaoh. I do believe that he definitely has baby mama drama, without a doubt. Um, and I think that's probably at the crux of his issues, has been the people that have been closest to him exposing the things that have been going on in his personal life. And while I can't say if I can put him on the same level of a person who is telling people to, leave their children behind to come be with him. I don't know if I've ever heard him say that. I don't know if I've ever heard him tell people to eat a particular way, or else you can't really rock with him. I do feel that there are a lot of issues there. There are a lot of generational curses there. There are a lot of trauma. There's a lot of likely emotional abuse that has probably taken place within his relationships. The physical abuse, we've heard rumblings of that as well. Um, Between both of the children's moms. But then again, you also see the fact that, you know, despite all of the controversy, especially that he's had with with Golden Beauty over the past few months, they're still co-parenting. They're still in each other's presence, in each other's lives. They're going through a lot of the same issues that I've seen many women go through, and I'm really not lying to you. I've friends with single mothers, a lot of people that I know that are single moms, and um they deal with similar situations with their baby fathers. And so I don't know if I put him on the exact same level as an Eligio, but I do put him on the level of someone who does command a following, someone who does obviously women are going to be drawn and attracted to that type of uh, I don't even know what to call it, but women obviously are attracted to that. They're attracted to guys like Eligio. They're attracted to guys, and this is just the truth. And so
There's a charisma about him. Do
there
you
is.
think
And
he's
go ahead.
toxic? Do you think that
Yes.
what he is displaying is toxic behavior?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely toxic. Absolutely harmful. Absolutely degrading. Absolutely uh, just kind of shocking, I guess, in some ways when I try to, give people the benefit of the doubt. People that haven't shown that type of behavior before, but then when you see it with your own eyes, you're shocked. And it's just,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely toxic, absolutely unacceptable, absolutely things that should never be seen publicly. Just absolutely things that need to be handled. I think that, for a lot of us, we have issues with how to handle you know those type of situations where conflict within our family, conflict with our co-parents, and it's just been absolutely horrible to see. And I'm not going to sit up here and fake the funk or anything like that. It's been a huge disappointment. It's been pretty despicable, and it's not something that I would ever co-sign, ever.
Mm.
Um, and so I hope it never gets to the level of a Eligio. Let's hope that. But what it is, and for what it is currently, it's not okay. What we saw, what we've seen, and you know, uh, I did make a video about my thoughts on YP and Golden Beauty, which was very controversial. I knew that they would come together again at the time, and so I tried to be very calculating with the things that I was saying. I tried to kind of encourage her in a way that might have been deemed as a tough love type of way. But I'm looking
Correct.
at it as a little sister. Like, this is a little sister. This is something that I would tell my little sister. My little sister has dealt with a man who was abusive before, and I've done the same thing, because when it comes to women who are saying that they're abused, sometimes you have to really just tell them, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do to get out of your situation. This is what you need to do to, improve your life, and to be able to escape from the horror that you're living in. And so I, I tried, and then it kind of backfired on me. And then there was an explosion after, I shared my opinion. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with anything that I was saying between, the both of them at the time, but I didn't really want to invest myself into something when I really didn't know the full story, and I
Mhm.
didn't really know enough information to really form a aggressive or passionate opinion about it. I mean, come
So
on.
you don't know Young Pharaoh or Golden Beauty personally, off of social media.
No, absolutely not. Not at all. Neither of them. I've encouraged Golden Beauty privately, while she was going through what she was going through. And that's all that I could really do, was just encourage her to, be strong and do the right thing, and, put her daughters first, and to just, protect herself. And that's
Mm.
all you can really do, because, this Golden Beauty is not the only woman who has been in a predicament like that. There are a lot of women watching that have been in those situations, and they know exactly, all of the intricate things that we don't get to see that go on in those interpersonal relationships, especially when it's, the father of your children involved. That you have to be, those are delicate situations. And so I didn't know enough. And I'm not going to just go off of what everybody else is saying. I'm not that type of person, and I never will be. And I don't regret the video that I did put out about it, although I know a lot of women were very upset with me for my thoughts and my opinions, but it came from experience. I mean, I've dated women with children. I know what they go through, and I know that you have to really put yourself in a position to protect yourself first and foremost. If you're not protecting yourself first and foremost, then how can you protect your children if you aren't protecting yourself and you're putting yourself in a position to, kind of relinquish your dependency on someone who you're saying is abusive to you? Here's This is my opinion on how you can do that. And, so many people were upset about that, but it still stands. If you want to be free from the shackles of feeling confined to um, the wiles of your baby dad, and he's taking care of everything, you have to relinquish that. You have to be willing to give that up and to pursue your own independence so that you have full control over what is going on in your life moving forward. And that's kind of where I was at. I don't agree with anything that was going on. I don't agree with anything that I was seeing from him, but I did know that there was something very deep and dark that was going on at the time. And I didn't really, coming from Nature Boy and then delving into that, I didn't want to delve that deep. I just
Mhm.
didn't. And I don't feel that, anybody should have had a issue with me not wanting to go there. If I'm trying to remove one toxic thing from my world, why would I want to jump headfirst into another thing? You know,
I think,
it didn't make sense to me.
mhm. So I think um, some of the pushback was because you went so hard uh, for the women, specifically Velvet, to protect her, and when she was experiencing her awakening out of her relationship, her toxic relationship with the cult leader of Carbonation. Um, but Golden Beauty was not given the same protection. You alluded to her bringing this on herself, and
Never.
so yeah, so that is that's the community conversation. What do you say
Right.
about that?
And that's okay.
Mhm,
Everybody has an opinion. See, that's the thing. People
mhm,
get mad if you don't agree with them. I'm not that type of person. I am fine with everybody having their own personal opinion about different scenarios because we all see things in different ways. I don't see things the same way that other people see things sometimes. And I think that's the issue. So, what one person might look at as coddling, I might be looking at it as, well, damn, how many hateful comments are you going to make in one day? I see the comments. She's not seeing your comments. I'm reading your comments. I see your comments behind the scenes. I see what you're saying. And I see that it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And it's not coming from a place of critique. It's not coming from a place of, people want to. It's interesting to me because people think that I went so hard on Golden. Golden didn't think that. Golden never told
mhm,
me that. And me and Golden, we had discourse via, private messaging. Golden never once said that. Golden
mhm,
was actually in my comment section on that video. So just because the collective consciousness, a certain collective consciousness might feel a certain way, it doesn't make it so. It doesn't it like I've been documenting a cult for 2.5 years that has a collective consciousness of rules and regulations and mods and things that they follow. That doesn't make it right though. It just doesn't. And so I think that's what people need to understand as a whole, is just because you think one way, it doesn't make it so. Just because you might have taken offense to what I said in that video, that was literally all facts and it was common sense. It's like, what are you mad about? If she wasn't offended by it, then why are you offended?
I think the
Independent.
issue was that you said that to Golden, but um you I don't know what kind of conversations you had off camera, but for the for the public to see, that same accountability was not given to Velvet publicly, and I
Um,
think, but these are again,
no, I understand.
yeah.
Well, what accountability did I give to any cult member? I don't
Mm,
understand people
mm,
comparing apples to oranges. At what point did I do any commentary on any of the cult members that were ever in carbonation and tell them to do anything? I made that video about YP and Golden because my viewers, a few of my viewers, asked me to make that video and asked me for my thoughts because I had just done a interview with young Pharaoh, and I understand their thoughts and I understand their feelings, but I was coming from a totally different place. Golden Beauty is not. She wasn't in a state of brainwash and mind control and
mhm.
trapped in a cycle of domestic violence that we could visibly see with our own two eyes. Velvet has a whole family. Velvet had her dad, Pops, when he was alive. She has her mom, her stepmom, and a ton of brothers and sisters that care very deeply for her. I never gave anyone in carbonation any advice publicly. And so I don't think comparing apples to oranges is really, that's not, I really didn't understand that because it's like that was a very kind of a special thing that I did. I don't typically do things like that. And I did that because I felt that, like I said, there are so many women that are in the same exact situation as Golden Beauty that they really don't know what to do to really break free from their situation. They're so young. They don't understand that you do have opportunities to be very independent and to have the upper hand if you really want to have that. You can do that. As far as Velvet was concerned, I never spoke publicly to Velvet about anything or privately. Never had a private conversation with her. Um, the only thing
Interesting.
that we did was an interview with two other individuals. And so I don't know um, why that wasn't kind of understood at the time, that I wasn't comparing Velvet to Golden Beauty. I was just simply making a video based on my thoughts and my feelings about it. And I was looking at it really as what I, is this something that I would tell my little sister or tell my, anyone close to me? What would I tell them? Because you kind of see the pattern. You're like, there's a pattern here. So let's kind of, and then it's like the same people that were kind of like, well, why did you go so hard? And I don't think I went that hard, but maybe I did because I can be a little harsh sometimes. They were bashing her later. These very
Mm.
same people were bashing her publicly. You've never seen me do that. I simply gave advice on how to free yourself from abuse. And I feel that if there is no hypocrisy there with the people that actually were supporting her and were mad at me because they thought that I was coming hard for her, did you have that same energy for the people that were coming hard for her later when she decided to try to make amends with her baby dad?
What is your thoughts about social media when it comes to the relationships and how they influence them?
uh, it's out of control, out of hand. I think that social media is a downfall of many relationships. Social media negatively impacts a lot because we're, again, that word, it's we're looking at a consciousness of beliefs and ideas and thoughts and judgments and critiques and of things that people do that damn well that people in your real life that do the same thing. Do you have the same energy for those people? And if you don't have the same energy for those people, then why so hard on people that do put themselves out there on social media? And a lot of people, that sit behind the scenes and make comments and make judgments, they they couldn't handle it. And that's just the truth. They wouldn't be able to handle it. And so there is this fine line when it comes to social media. Social media is social media. Not everybody in your outside life even knows oftentimes what you're doing on social media, or what you got going on. What kind of energy are you putting out on social media? So I had to really become consciously aware of that, even for myself. At a certain point, I had to start holding myself accountable, and take those blows. I'm going to take more blows when people hear this interview. It's going to incite more feelings in people, and I get that, and I understand, and I'm okay with that, because I'm strong enough to take those blows. I'm strong enough and receptive enough and loving enough to take the love that is going to come alongside that as well, from others who are understanding of what a wild, crazy, scary, dark, and sometimes light place social media can be. Um, it's it's really, you just never know what you're going to get when it comes to social media. So
You stated that your content that you recorded was for awareness earlier, correct?
yeah, it's for me just documenting. I didn't
Right.
really know it was for awareness at the time, to
Oh,
be
okay.
honest with you. I was literally just documenting a cult. I didn't know how bad it was. But I thought, this is a cult, and I want people to understand why I started this. It wasn't because, like,
Mm,
oh my God, look, it was more of a, I'm going to document this because, these people might actually, you know, who knows? Maybe a psych professor might see this cult on YouTube one day, and they might, take some clips and incorporate that into their lessons, into their teachings. My mom is a college professor, and so, on top of me having that experience, and as you know, I know you had that academic experience as well.
mm,
When you're sitting in certain classes, that element just makes it, bringing in that extra element where you're
yes,
like,
it
here,
does.
look at this. It could take it takes it to the next level. And so my thoughts were just all over the place. I was just like, I'm about to document this cult. This is crazy. Like, I can't believe this. And I was someone who has studied cults leading up to that point. And so it was just surprising to me that they were even online. And I was like, well, I'm going to take this opportunity. I didn't know at the time that I was bringing any awareness, because I really didn't see the abuse yet until
Mm,
Velvet had the baby. And after that, it was just like, wow. So I
mhm,
didn't see a lot of what, people were aware of before. So I was catching up, constantly catching up, while also documenting at the same time. And then at some point, it was just like, okay, now I'm bringing awareness, because this is a dangerous, violent, abusive sex cult.
Please explain to the viewers why you took the content down. I know you talked about it a little bit already, but why you took the content down. And then my next question is, um, why would you put it back up? If so, for what?
Took the content down. The content, and
The
I'm
documentation of the call.
no, no, I know. So my answer is this: I'm not really sure if if I had the largest library of videos on carbonation or not, but I do know that the toxicity and negativity that it brought into my world was pretty overwhelming as a whole. I think it has probably been one of the most, uh, what's the word? The word escapes me. It's probably, and I think watching the premieres with the viewers was the only fulfilling thing. It's probably one of the most depressing, dark things that I've ever done, was to document this cult and to see the abuse, and to, not only am I documenting the abuse, and I'm, you know, uploading the video, and I'm finding the music to go with it, and then I'm reading the comments that are just, they're all pretty, the comments are pretty on point with what we're saying. We're saying negativity, we're saying toxicity,
Mhm.
and it's just, that's all there is. That's it. Who wants a channel that is filled with negativity? I can't even, and I had to start protecting my energy spiritually. I had to protect my energy. I've never in my life been met with such negativity as a whole, even outside of the cult, just with people watching, commenting, other reporters, other people documenting. And so I had to protect my energy. It was a process. I had to, like, literally kind of wean the audience off of it. There were so many people that they were done with it. They didn't even want me to report on carbonation for the longest time. And so it wasn't everybody that was, like, disappointed with the removal of the videos. Many, many, many people were happy that they were no longer getting that type of airtime, including myself. um, Overwhelming negativity associated with the documentation of this cult, on a profound level. And removing those videos was one of the most freeing, relieving, exhilarating things I've ever experienced, um, on social media, as far as social media is concerned. I have no regrets about doing so. It lifted a huge dark cloud over my life, real life and social media. And I am, quite frankly, glad to no longer have those. I could have just ended the entire channel and just shut it down, period. But I didn't want to do that completely. Um, had no idea what I was going to do after that, but I knew that I couldn't continue. And I knew that, if I did continue, and this is why I don't care about views, subscribers. I've lost subscribers, and I'm going to lose more. Please continue to subscribe. Those who are holding out for carbonation content, please subscribe. I don't care if I have 500 subscribers. I promise you, I don't. I don't. I just don't. And that's why it was so easy for me to stop doing it and to walk away, because I did what I set out to accomplish. I documented a cult. I have the videos. I have helped in numerous ways to, I've made many, many videos that were sent to different authorities for people. Whoever needed it, I did it without question. I have sent videos myself to authorities, certain ones that I thought were just horrific. I've done everything that I could possibly do. And I think most of us have probably done everything we could possibly do. All I could keep doing at this point is just keep showing their lives. For what? What more will it accomplish? What more will it do? I think that the information's out there now. I think everybody knows what's going on. There are tons of videos on YouTube that are showing exactly what's going on. And my channel's not the only one. I might have had the largest library, but I get a lot of backlash for documenting carbonation, and I get a lot of backlash for stopping documenting carbonation. What I found is that in the social media world, you you win some, you lose some, and sometimes you can't win for losing. You can't please everybody, and I'm not trying to please anybody that I don't know and that doesn't truly, truly, like, care for my spiritual and my mental well-being. I am happy to no longer be documenting carbonation, and I hope that everybody who thought that I was with carbonation, I wonder how they feel now, because they are getting not one view from me. um, and I hope that you guys feel that there's some sense of vindication there, because I am glad to no longer be doing it. What I repost, I was gonna post the one video. I was gonna post on my channel one final video, just showing really what that final straw there was a final straw. I already had that mind that I was gonna stop. Um, I wanted to stop, and I had stopped. I slowed down. But There was one final video that the universe allowed me to see, and I was like, that's it. There it
Mm.
is. And I still have it. It's about a 30-minute video. I might premiere that video at some point in the future, just so that people can kind of see where I'm coming from and what I'm not going to tolerate and what I don't have to deal with. Because documenting a cult like this, you get a lot of abuse. There's a lot of abuse that comes with it. I
What do
don't
you
need.
say to the people who said that you only stopped uh, sharing carbonation content and you only stopped recording and posting for the controversy surrounding your identity and being exposed? What do you say to those people?
Well, I say they're wrong. How would they know? Can they prove it? I mean, this is social media. It's people are going to say whatever they want to. You can say whatever you want to say on social media. And sometimes you can get checked or you can be corrected, and most of the times no one's going to say anything because they're either going to believe it or they're not going to believe it. They're going to either know the truth or they're just never going to know, because that's just how social media works. So if people feel that there was never a fear of me being doxxed. Like I said, I was on YouTube. I knew the videos that I still had on YouTube from back in 2008 when I used to make videos. There was only one individual within this sector that I ever gave a link to those 2008 videos that I used to make when I was in this little group, and then we would make videos about our community. But there was never any fear of being doxxed. Obviously, I've tried to be a private person. I do have a life. I do have a family. I do have a career. I do have a business, and I have interests to protect. And so I thought that that was fair, and that, doing the type of documenting that I was doing, I kind of wanted to protect those interests, because it's just, you know, this crowd is, it was the cult crowd, and then it was the people against the cult crowd, and then there was the people against me reporting on the cult or documenting the cult crowd. So there was a lot coming at me from a lot of different angles, constantly. People don't really understand that I could have stopped doing this 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I could have stopped doing this when I first started because of the intimidation tactics that were coming at me from the start. But ultimately, people are going to feel how they want to feel. I stopped documenting carbonation because there has been so much negative and toxic energy that I have had to deal with, that I've never had to deal with ever before in my life. I'm not a type of person that I don't do the beef thing. I don't do the I don't, that's not my cup of tea. That's not my forte. But it came kind of with the territory in some ways, but I'm not kind of built for that in a sense. And it's just outside of my comfort zone. I would maybe do a video every few days or something like that. Meanwhile, in the back end, I'm saving, archiving, deleting. It was a process. It took a little while. It was something, and I took a little time to every day. I would take a few, maybe about 30 minutes to an hour out of my day just to do that, and it took time. But it had nothing to do with any other controversy. Like, that doesn't even make sense. I could have just as easily kept the videos up there, and the subscriber base probably would have continued to grow, just because of people, some people viewing it as entertainment, some viewing it as education, some viewing it as just whatever people's reasons were, exposure, because they've been through that before. But it had absolutely nothing to do with that. That was already in process. It was already a work in process. But it was a process. And that's what, when I say process, it was time and energy that it took for me to archive those videos and to remove them, and to remove with it that toxic negative energy. And that energy is still kind of hoovering, but it's
Hmm.
dying down. It's still hoovering. It's still there, and I understand why it's there. It comes with the territory. This is uh, almost demonic, in a sense, and I feel relieved to no longer be doing this, and I don't have any. I don't apologize for it one bit. If anybody needs a video or if anyone needs an archive, I'm there. I'm here. But outside of that, it's a wrap as far as my energy being linked to that. I spiritually, I haven't felt this good in 2.5 years. So
Mm.
yeah.
So recently, um, you came out. You're as part of the LGBT community. What made you bring your personal life to, or back to, because you say you used to have a channel. What made you bring it back to the public?
Well, I think most of us watching probably know kind of the circumstances surrounding why that happened. I had a relationship with a fellow content creator on YouTube, and it was a pretty it was a relationship that I think ended up becoming public in some ways, but not really understood fully by the people that might have been listening to the things that were, being said about me and the situations that were being discussed. Um, and so I felt, especially once I was doxxed, and I know people keep saying that I wasn't, but doxing is, doesn't always have to be someone disclosing your full name. It's your identity. It's who you are. It's your image, your whatever.
Your likeness.
I was my likeness, yeah. And so once I was doxxed, and once I got confirmation of that, because I started seeing videos popping up showing my videos from back in 2008, I said, hey, I could have done that myself. That's why they're still up there. I could have removed those videos if I wanted to, but they were there. I didn't think that this sector would ever get a hold of them, because I know that there's a lot of homophobia within the sector. I know that there's a lot of judgment. I know there's a lot of discrimination and prejudice as it relates to the LGBT community. And so I just decided to come out, because it was a lot of controversy surrounding it anyway. I mean, why not just, if you're gonna dox me, let me go ahead and help you and tell my side and kind of clear some things up in the process. And so I just decided to come out with it. I felt that I owed that to myself. Not saying that I owed it to anyone else. I owed it to myself, because I wanted to be represented in the way that I felt was proper at the time, and I was ready for it, and so it happened. That happened, and it was bound. It was, at that point, it was probably bound to happen anyway. So I just did it.
Hmm. I know you said you didn't want to talk about your personal relationship with other content creators, uh, but on a professional level, what have you learned with this experience um, in dealing with content creators on YouTube and in this particular community?
The number one thing that I have learned, because I'm the type of person that sometimes I can be a little bit naive when it comes to certain situations. I have a big heart, meaning in the sense that I like to take people at face value. I like to take things at face value, even sometimes when I shouldn't. I've learned to trust my intuition 100%. I have learned, and this is sad that I'm just now like coming to this realization, but I think that having experiences like this, tough lessons learned, these are learning curves that we all go through in different areas of our life. But for me, especially, I learned to really trust my intuition, trust your instincts. If, you know, really take account of who the people that you want to give energy to are sharing energy with already. If they're already in a place that's in a low vibrational, low energy type of setting or environment, and then I'm interacting with these individuals, and I'm thinking that something good is going to come out of it. Obviously, that I'm going to be sadly mistaken. And I've learned that you have to take people for who they are. You have to meet people where they're at. And you have to just, move a little smarter. And I, I tell myself that all the time. Everything that I've been through on YouTube since I have stopped documenting carbonation has been a result of what I knew had the potential of happening. I kind of thought that, here I am, um, exposing the life of a cult. At some point, that could possibly happen to me as well. And I made decisions at some points that kind of preempted that, and just kind of caused it to just happen in some ways. So I take responsibility and I take accountability for the role that I played in that um, in that happening. I'm not gonna sit here and whine and cry about what happened to me. I'm gonna own it. It happened. I was, obviously I have to take accountability for that, for my role in it, and I have to move on. I have to, learn my lesson and try to move better, moving forward. And that's all that I can do. I don't regret any of the relationships that I have formed while I was documenting carbonation. They were all very meaningful to me at one point in time. They all came for a season, and for a reason. I accept that. I appreciate it. I take all my lessons, and I keep, you just keep ticking. That's all that you can do, really. Hey, I did it to myself, in a way. And so I have to eat that, and I have to move on, and I have to do better, and I have to be better. And I have to, bring back the me that I know was there before I started doing this, compassionate, kind, loving person who wants the best for everyone, who's sometimes selfless to a fault, but also who sometimes is not as, have to be fair as well when it comes to how that judgment is distributed when it's time for that. We're judging the cult, but I also have to look at myself and reflect on my own actions while documenting the cult and the controversy that surrounded, a lot of the things that I've gone through in the past few weeks. Moving forward, I'm moving forward in coming from the place where I originally came from, which is not a very popular place to be, especially in social media. But like my heart is bursting, and I want to put out good things. I want to put out positive things, and I want to express love, and that's where I'm at right now. That's
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
Do you think you are narcissistic?
Um, I think I'm narcissistic? Well, the good thing about it is that I come from a family that you know, have experience with therapy and social work and
Mm-hmm.
psychology. My godmom is a doctorate in psychology. I myself have been to therapy, and I know I'm not one. I think
Mm-hmm.
that for the most part, we all have traits inside of us. We have, each and every one of us, depending on our mood, depending on the day, depending on
Mm-hmm.
who we're interacting with and what we're dealing with. We can all display characteristics of different personality disorders at certain points, but absolutely not. And I think that for the most part, if you feel that a person is a certain way, then you deal with them a certain way. And I feel that if you have experience dealing with narcissism, it's something that you should be able to kind of recognize right away. And so if you don't recognize that in a person, at least, within the first few months of dealing with them, then it's probably not what you think it is. And it might be other things that are impacting what you're saying or what you might be feeling. And so, no, I know that I'm not. And it's, and if I was, then I would, I would have to, then I'd have to do something differently and try to help people to deal with people that were narcissistic. If that was something that I felt that I was, or that I was diagnosed as, but
Correct.
um, no, I'm not a narcissist. So, but thank you for that question. I think.
I just wanted to clear it up. Okay. I want to say, is before I say thank you, do you have anything else you want to share with the people, your people, the people who might not n- know you, the people who are getting to know you, those who thought they knew you? What do you say to them today? This final, hoorah of this particular topic.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I want to say, first off, to my subscribers and those who have stood by me while I've been on this journey of documentation, it's my hope that, and I know that many of you are supportive of my decision to stop documenting carbonation and the reasons why. I think it's really hard for people to understand why unless they're in the midst of it. Documenting a cult like this is very tough because there's a lot of negative energy attached to it um, spiritually. And if you are in tune spiritually, then you will absolutely be impacted and affected by it at some point. And I got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And I knew that I needed to do something drastic. And so it's just my hope that you guys really understand where I'm coming from, and you know that it was all done for my best interest as well as others as well. I think that it's one thing to critique abuse and to expose it. It's another thing to just continue displaying
Mm.
it and thinking that, positive things are going to come to you. There have been positive things that have come out of the documentation of carbonation on my part. I have been aligned with many wonderful individuals, unbiased, intelligent individuals like yourself. And I appreciate making those connections. I appreciate the love that has been shown. There are certain people out there that have just been unwavering in their understanding of who I am as a person, inherently deep down and on the surface. People like my friend Carla and Bailey and my moderators. I know I'm missing out on some of you guys. Please forgive me. I I I have so many thoughts going through my head right now, but this because it really, really needed to be done. Thank you so much, Real Talk, for giving me this opportunity and just listening and asking these tough questions. It's going to be interesting. Definitely just appreciative for all the love that has been shown me throughout the years, and even the criticism. I appreciate that as well because it does balance, causes you to kind of look deeper within and make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So thank you for that as well. And I hope people can kind of understand why I've been typically in the background. I am a very opinionated person, and I know I have very, very strong opinions, and that's why I've tried over the years, guys, to not share them with the wider audience that much because I know I can kind of be controversial. So I've tried to spare
Mhm.
you all, but I do appreciate these opportunities where I do get to talk about how I think and feel about certain things, especially myself. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I know I keep thanking you, but I'm very appreciative for the conversation and just for the respect that you've shown,
Mm.
um, throughout this time.
Absolutely. Please subscribe to the T if you have not already for her new content. Whatever that is, we look forward to seeing it. Um, make sure you guys that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video with as many people as you possibly can. And until next time, peace.
Well, peace and out. Peace and love, everybody. Don't go too hard on me now. Have a good one, Real Talk. Have a great rest of your day.
No problem.